The penultimate time this season, we're about to have racing in the FIA Formula 2 Championship. The Circuit de Catalunya is going to host 22 laps of action. Mirko Bortolotti on pole position, Miki Monras alongside him and on the inside line. The lights come on and we're away very quickly. It looks as though Monras has got a decent getaway. Ramon Pinheiro is pulling to the inside line to try and have a look up the inside as well. But as they head down, it's Bortolotti leading. Monras in second. They're all line astern. Bortolotti has to go very defensive. Looks like Alex Brundle's got a good start as Zanella tries to send one up the inside. Hagevold is in there too, fairly calm through the first corner in the first few rows. Zanella has lost out, I think, to Jack Clark, who's got another very good start. One person going off, I think that was Partifa Warren, just going over the runoff on the exit of the first corner, but all safely through the first sector. And here's the look for third place. Tobias Hagevold sending it up the inside into turn 4. Did Ramon Pinheiro see him? We'll see when the camera pans around. Yes, he did. Hagevold didn't make it through, but that was a close one.
Yeah, that was. I thought Ramon was beginning to get back onto the racing line. And they might have touched, but I think it must be incredibly close. They're lucky to go away with that.
Benjamin Lariche trying to go side by side. I think there were Timo Storz a little bit further back in the field. It's Max Snegerev actually, so Snegerev holding the inside line as James Cole battles with Jose Luis Abedin, who's made up 2 places, 3 places off the start. In fact, up through Campsa they come, 108 miles an hour in 4th gear in qualifying trim, and then the run down towards the hairpin. So Mihai Marinescu is feeling under pressure from Jack Clark, isn't he?
Yes, and exactly. We saw Tobias Hedgefield go down the inside of Ramon. Actually, there, Ramon's got it back. Actually, going into that little kink. So fantastic little scrap between those two. We've got a spinner there.
Yes, that's. I couldn't quite pick out who that was, but good spot there. I didn't see that. I was looking at Jack Clark attack. So, but still Ramon Pinheiro in 3rd place, but he's coming under all sorts of pressure from Tobias Hagevold. This is backing them back into Mihai Marinescu, Jack Clark, Christopher Zanella, Alex Brundle, Kelvin Schnooks, Mikkel Mack and Timo Storz, as Jose Luis Abedin is battling now with Partifa Warren. So out onto the start-finish straight they come. Could that possibly have been Benjamin Lariche spinning, I wonder, as they come across the line? Bortolotti 1.1 seconds clear at the end of the first lap, and Zanella darting to the inside, trying to put Jack Clark off more than anything. It was quite a dramatic dart to the inside, but Clark not being affected.
Yeah, and rather crucially for Bortolotti, he's managed to pull out 1.1 seconds over Monras on that first lap, and that's just enough to break the toe. So cracking first lap from Bortolotti.
So yeah, it was Benjamin Lariche who spun down there at turn 10, because he is a long way down on the field. 22 seconds behind the race leader at the end of that first lap. So we've got Kelvin Schnooks here then. He's running in 8th place with Mikkel Mack in 10th position. So Mack has lost a place off the start to Kelvin Schnooks, who's moved from 11th to 9th. As they head up towards Campsa once again. Ramon Pinheiro looks as though he's just about held off the early pressure from Tobias Hagevold. It was a late move into that corner. I think Jack Clark could be coming under pressure from Zanella before too long as well, as they head down into one of the biggest braking zones on the circuit, down to just 43 miles an hour in 2nd gear down for that hairpin. And then into this seems like a tricky section of corners, because the entry to this right-hander is a left, which is fairly flat out, isn't it?
Yeah, it's pretty tricky actually. It's the end of the new section that Barcelona put in here a few years ago, and it is very difficult. If you can do that little section, that little kink flat, and then you have to be back on the brakes straight away for turn 12 and make sure you don't run too wide through 12, which is very easy to do, particularly when the tyres are...
6 seconds behind our 2nd place man, Miki Monras, who's only 1.2 seconds behind Mirko Bortolotti out the front, but Pinheiro doing everything he can to seal 3rd place in the championship. If he finishes 3rd, then Miki Monras needs to win the race to still be in with a chance of taking that 3rd place in the championship. So if things stay how they are, Ramon Pinheiro and Christopher Zanella will be taking the GP2 test drives, which will frustrate Miki Monras after such a good start to the season. Monras, of course, raced in GP3 last season, finished I think 10th or 11th in the championship. So it was a fairly decent showing from him in what was GP3's debut season last year, wasn't it? So Miki Monras, who did Formula Renault 2 litre before that, finished 4th in the Western European Cup back in 2009, picked up 7 podiums and a pole. And, yeah, GP3, he did strong in GP3, 2 podiums at Spa and Turkey. He had a fastest lap of the race in the GP3 race here at Circuit de Catalunya, so knows his way around this place, and he's certainly showing that today, keeping Mirko Bortolotti very, very honest indeed. He's lost a tenth of a second in the first sector, but nothing too dramatic.
Yeah,
and Mihai Marinescu does his personal best in the middle sector.
Yeah, sorry, Jack. These top three are in a class of their own. They're a comfortable 5 tenths in front of the next group from Hedgeville downwards. So they're doing a fantastic job, and I have to say, great job from Pinheiro after a serious lack of testing so far this weekend, and doing a really good job. Only a few tenths away from Bortolotti and Monras.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very impressive. 8.5 seconds behind Miki Monras, but 7 seconds ahead of Tobias Hegervold. So this is probably the loneliest place for Ramon to be in. But I think this is doing him good, you know, because this is pretty much now just turning into a test session, a test stint. And look at his lap time on the last lap, 2 tenths quicker than Miki Monras and only 2 tenths slower than Mirko Bortolotti. So he's really learning about the track here.
Yeah, I mean, isn't this the perfect race for him, really? Yeah. It's you know, he's out on his own. Maybe he can afford to experiment a little bit with a few things, but I mean, it's fair to say he does know the track very well, and in a Formula 2 car from the testing last year. But this is the perfect race for him, and good for confidence after a fairly difficult Thursday sitting out the car.
He doesn't know the track as well as you'd expect, though. I mean, you know, he's from Barcelona. You'd expect him to know it like the back of his hand, but he did that winter test here in Formula 2. But before that, he'd only done, I think, 2 years in Formula BMW where they came here, and that was kind of it. So it is fairly foreign circuit to Ramon Pinheiro, certainly compared to somewhere like Silverstone, where he's been racing a lot in, you know, the likes of Formula Parma Audi and Formula 2 at the start of this year. We saw he was very strong there. There's Miki Monras. He'll be pleased to be back on the podium after the last race at Monza. It was a massive drought before then. A third and a first in the first weekend at Silverstone, but then no podium in Magny-Cours, Spa, Nürburgring, Brands Hatch, Red Bull Ring, or the first race in Monza. So it will be good news for Miki Monras, but it will be bad news because, as we're saying, looking at the championship standings, he is going to not have a chance to test the GP2 car, not via the F2 prize anyway. He won't have the chance to test the GP2 car, which will be a real shame, because showing what you can do in a GP2 car is the next step up for these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely, and yeah, he's only just missed.
Looks like he's going to add his 6th victory of the season, his 6th 2011 FIA Formula 2 trophy to go on his mantelpiece or trophy room or wherever he keeps them in his home just outside of Vienna, as he drops down the hill in towards turn 6 and 7. 6 is the kink, 7 is the actual corner, and then 8 is another kink, really, as he climbs up towards camp. So 108 miles an hour on the apex, and he's been pushing all day, and he's pulled 8 seconds clear of Miki Monras, and he's pulled out another 3 tenths in sector 1 of this final lap. So it's a massively strong performance from Mirko Bortolotti. Bit out of shape on the brake there, but he clinched the championship in the last race at Monza, but he is going to carry on winning. He's not going to give up that just yet. The 21-year-old Austro-Italian heads down into the new section of circuit, turns 13, down into the second slowest corner on the circuit, turn 15, 45 miles an hour, and then out through the flat-out final corner here at the Circuit de Catalunya to take the win in the penultimate race of the 2011 FIA Formula 2 Championship. Bortolotti delighted, had a little bit of pressure from Miki Monras early on. That soon dissipated as Bortolotti put his foot down. Second place for Miki Monras. I think he'll be satisfied with that. Disappointed he couldn't keep up the pace with Mirko Bortolotti. And here comes Ramon Pinheiro to clinch a GP2 test drive at the end of the year. That will no doubt please him. Christopher Zanella has already clinched it. There's
keep making this look very easy.
Well, no, it's never easy, but I'm very happy to take this win here in Barcelona. It's my first win here in Barcelona, so I'm very happy about that, and I want to dedicate it to 2 big racing heroes that has been forced to disappear in the last 2 weeks, Dan Weldon and Marco Simoncelli. Thank you.
Well done, Mirko.
Indeed, good to hear that from my thanks to Jonathan Kennard for joining me here in the commentary box, and we hope you'll join us tomorrow for all the action, the final race of the 2011 FIA Formula 2 Championship.